I was reading a statement by Petroleum Minister of Pakistan, and that brings me to the question that is the India's energy security vis-a-vis the oil crisis that Pakistan is facing right now. Now, this topic, it is related to the strategic petroleum reserve, to the Strait of Hormuz, as well as the trap of the IMF and the fiscal space as well. So this connects with the GS3 and with GS2, and it has relevance in your essay as well. Now, when it comes to the statement that is there, so Pakistani Petroleum Minister Ali Pervaiz Malik, he have said and publicly admitted that we don't have even a day's worth of the strategic petroleum reserve. At the same time, when it comes to the oil price, they have surged to $126 per barrel. This is the highest since 2022, and it is because of the disruptions that we are facing at the Strait of Hormuz because of the US and Iran tensions, and there had been complete blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. When it comes to Pakistan, so Pakistan over here, it only holds about 5 to 7 days of commercial crude. And when it comes to the refined products, they are just available with the oil marketing companies in Pakistan for about 20 to 21 days. Over here in the Pakistan, for when it comes to the April, so the oil bill had tripled to $800 million per week, and even the petrol prices, they have risen by 42.7% because of the West Asian crisis. So it was earlier 321 Pakistani rupee, which has risen to 458 Pakistani rupee per litre. All right. The minister, he has contrasted the India's resilience as well, and he said that India has 60 to 70 days of reserves that are there, and that could be released only with one signature when it comes to India. So when it comes to India, so what is the strategic petroleum reserve journey that we had in India? In 1991, we have the balance of payment crisis, and when it comes to the foreign reserve, we could barely fund 3 weeks of the imports, and here the oil vulnerabilities were exposed. At the same time, when there were Gulf wars, so after the Gulf War, Vajpayee government, it has proposed that there should be a strategic petroleum reserve so that we could have long-term energy security solution for India. In 2024, ISPRL, that is Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserve Limited, it was incorporated as a wholly owned special purpose vehicle under Oil Industry Development Board, which is under Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. So there was strategic petroleum reserves that were constructed in 2004, and in 2017 the second phase had been announced, which will be located at Chandikhol in Odisha, and additional caverns will be filled in the Padur as well. Now, in 2020, when it comes to the COVID period, so in the COVID period, the barrel prices or the oil prices, they were very low. So there, the SPR were filled with the full capacity, and at that point of time, the oil, it was just, $20 per barrel. And thus, we have saved 5,000 crore rupees at that point of time. Now, in 2021, ADNOC, that is the national oil company of UAE, that is Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, and ISPRL, they have signed a MOU. Over here, in this or by this MOU, UAE will store the crude in India's Padur cavern, and this is where we are moving forward with the bilateral energy relationship with UAE and with UAE. Now, this is a prelims fact sheet where you could be asked about the questions about India's SPR. So we have the phase 1 total capacity, it is 5.33 metric million tons. And we have emergency coverage for the 9.5 days. But when it comes to the oil, that is with the oil marketing companies as well. So the total national capacity, that is with the SPR and the oil marketing companies stock, we have total, emergency coverage for 74 days. Now, the phase 1 investment was $600 million, and we had these 3 locations where the SPR had been, constructed. We have at Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. This is on the east coast, and we have 1.33 metric million tons of the SPR. Then Mangaluru and Padur, that is, they are located in Karnataka, and there also we have the stage 1 or phase 1 of the SPR that was constructed. The phase 2 is right now in progress in Chandikhol, and Padur will be expanded, and this is in PPP mode, and ultimately the target is that we reach the 90-day of the reserves that should be maintained in India. So this is where we have the SPR, or the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, that is located. Right now it is located at Visakhapatnam and Padur and Mangalore. In phase 2, Chandikol and Padur, the reserves, they will be, upgraded, and Chandikol will be a new SPR, or the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, that will be there. So now when it comes to the energy crisis that Pakistan is facing, so there is only about 5 to 7 days of commercial reserves that is there. There is no strategic reserves that the Pakistan have, and at the same time when it comes to the refined product with OMCs or the oil marketing companies, that is only of about 20 to 21 days. There is no buffer beyond this commercial cycle. Now, import bill, it has tripled to $800 million per week, as well as the petroleum prices have surged to 42.7%. Right now, it is under the IMF bailout conditions. The Pakistan is under IMF bailout conditions, and there the conditions is that they mandate the petroleum levy. You cannot give the subsidies, you cannot cut down the prices in Pakistan, and therefore that limits the fiscal response of the government when it comes to the petroleum prices in Pakistan. Now there is the news of the back channel negotiation that is being done with the IMF, where IMF have said that okay, you can have 80 rupees per litre reduction when it comes to the petroleum prices. So this is where there is a policy paralysis that had been exposed with Pakistan because of the IMF conditions which had been laid down on Pakistan. Now, there could be civil unrest because of this inflation that is going on in Pakistan, and there is no production base with Pakistan. Pakistan does not produce any oil domestically. It is 100% dependent upon the imports on the Gulf routes that are there. At the same time, India is resilient when it comes to the energy crisis because we have 74 days of the coverage, and when it comes to the fiscal space, there is, or we have seen even because of the rising crude oil prices that is there. The petroleum prices, they have not increased in India. So there is the excise that had been cut to cushion the customers in India. Then we are also diversifying the sources. We are moving to Russia. We are taking oil from Russia, from Middle East, from Venezuela, from West Africa. So we are sourcing or diversifying our sources as well. And India is also not under IMF program. So we have autonomy when it comes to the policy that we decide for the Indian citizens. At the same time, there is another factor as well, and that is that we have robust foreign exchange reserve. India right now has more than $600 billion, and this is acting as a macro shield. We are the world's 4th largest refining capacity, and thereby we were able to absorb the shock, and we were not that much, yes, we are also hit by the West Asian crisis, but not as much as Pakistan has been hit, and this has been, publicly admitted by Pakistan right now. So this is how a global shock, it impacts the economy. There is any kind of external shock, like for example, we have seen war, blockade, or any oil spike. So that leads to the market channel. There is higher crude prices, there is higher freight, or even the higher insurance costs which are there. Now these trickle down towards the domestic channel. You will see that the retail fuel prices, transport, fertilizer and food, the prices will went up. When they will go up, so there will be inflation, there would be pressure on the current account deficit, and the currency pressure will be there, and ultimately there is, or there has to be a policy response. Like for example, the crude oil, it could be drawn down from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, tax tweaks could be there, and even subsidies could be provided in the case of fertilizers. Now, what could be the implications? So, implication could be that in the term of short term, there could be oil shock. Because of the oil shock, the inflation will rise in Pakistan, and in Pakistan, you can see that there will be civil unrest in the Pakistan and the similar import-dependent economies as well. In the medium term, Pakistan may face the IMF program renegotiations because it will have to, move down or cut down the prices on the petroleum prices. At the same time, India has the strategic leverage when it comes to the IMF program. Alright, because we have autonomy, or we are not under IMF bailout as well. And the long-term implication will be that there is the Strait of Hormuz vulnerability. Now, we have seen the Strait of Hormuz vulnerability, and that is why we are moving, or India will move ahead with the renewable transition that we will see in the coming years. And already the government have started working in the direction as well, because there is a new, methanol or green methanol plant that will be, or that will come up in the Deen Dayal Port Authority that is located in Kandla. All right, now these are the government steps that the government has taken when it comes to ISPRL. So we have the strategic petroleum reserves, which are under the OIDB. And also it manages the complete 5.33 metric million tons underground caverns, which are located at 3 locations in the phase 1. Then India also have the associate membership of IEA. This gives the access to the global emergency data and coordination mechanism as well. We have taken we were given the associate membership in 2017. Then when it comes to ADNOC MOU, so that was signed in 2021, and over here, this is the national oil company of UAE, which stores the crude at Padur. This is first commercial strategic hybrid SPR partnership that we entered with any nation or with any company. Then the second SPR had been, that had been released, and when it comes to Chandikol and Padur, there will be expansion. This will be in PP mode, and ultimately the target will be that we should have more than 90 days of the reserves that should be built in India. And also when it comes to the renewable energy focus, so PM Kusum and ISTS like renewable energy schemes are running right now, and that is for reducing the fossil fuel dependence in the electricity sector that the government is planning for. Then when it comes to Strait of Hormuz crisis, so we have developed the Chabhar port as well. This is the alternative access route bypassing the Hormuz, and there is a strategic insurance against the choke point risk that is there in Strait of Hormuz, and we can use the Chabhar port as well. So that is all in today's session, and at the same time, if you are preparing for IAS 2027 or 2028, you can enroll into UPSC IAS Resolution GS Foundation Put2I batches. All right. So these batches, if you are enrolling into these batches, what you can do is you can use the code that is BRS Live, and by using this code, you will get the maximum discount. So that is all in this session. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me over here, and do not forget to like, share, as well as subscribe this channel so that you do not miss any of the updates in the future. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care and Jai Hind.